I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community for partners to connect and feel less alone. Our podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, and supporters of the industry to learn, laugh, vent, and hear stories about this incredibly unique way of life. What do you say? Let's dive in. Hello, partners of commercial fishermen, supporters of family and friends. We are back for another episode of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast. I am your host, Megan Waldrop. And if you are new here, welcome. We're stoked to have you. We're here every week talking about the curiosities and the intricacies of being a part of the commercial fishing lifestyle. That is such a huge umbrella, I understand. Being a part of bringing seafood to the tables of billions of people around the world, it requires so many people, and we love and appreciate everything that you're doing out there. And this is what this space is for. This is for us to celebrate, to talk about challenges that we're going through, and to just basically know that other people understand what we're going through, because not everybody can truly understand this lifestyle, as we've talked about many millions of times before, but it's true. It's such a nuanced experience, and what an adventure it is. You know, there's so many great highs, there's lows, there's challenges, and every single time we're able to push through it and come out on the other side, because you know what, as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're here to uplift you, we're here to celebrate you, and we're going to do it one more time. And I appreciate, of course, you always showing up every week. And this week we're talking about a subject that comes up for many of us, and I don't feel like I've talked about it enough. And we're going to talk about loneliness and how to combat it. And, you know, when our fishermen are gone for a long period of time, or even if they're not gone for a long period of time, even if they're in day fisheries where they're going around the clock, it's kind of like their long distance. That feeling of loneliness can creep in. But I want to start it off by saying that just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely, or that you need to feel that way in any way. That's number one. I think many of us understand that, but just because you're alone doesn't mean, oh, I'm automatically going to feel this lonely feeling. However, the lonely feeling does creep in, and every season is different. And I've learned that this year. I've been with my fishermen this is going on 10 years in August. And around this year, in mid-January, that lonely feeling crept in for me. And it was surprising. I had never really felt that deep sense of loneliness and sadness before about our separation. At that point, Chris had been gone from, about August. I drove to California with him. We have a home in Wilmington, North Carolina. I drove out to California with him, and I left late August, and he was fishing until Christmas time. He came back to North Carolina, and then he flew back to California to finish out the season, which is mid-March. It ends in mid-March. And this was the first time that I really kind of felt the effects of it. I mean, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks after he had returned to California, and I was just laying on the couch. You know, it was the end of the day. And I thought, oh, damn, like I feel sad. Like, I don't just feel sad, I feel lonely. And I had never really felt that way before. And well, I have to be honest, maybe I didn't feel that way before because in the past I'd reach for a substance to distract me and push those feelings down. And in the past, alcohol was a huge thorn in my life, a huge life block for me for years. I quit drinking when I was 34. I'm 43 right now. And I still, every day, I'm so thankful that I put that down. That was a huge roadblock for me. But as I've spoken about in other past episodes too, that marijuana became my new crutch, and I would reach for that. And that became like, you know, by the way, don't trade one addiction for the other. Duh. But that was my way of not dealing with those feelings. And it was interesting because this time, you know, I'm not drinking, I'm not ingesting any THC, you know, it doesn't work for me. I'm not saying that any of that is bad in any way. I'm just saying for me, it was not good. So, you know, this time mid-January, I wasn't feeling great. I was feeling lonely. I was feeling sad. And so I tried something new. I laid down and I embraced it. I was like, oh, I'm feeling lonely right now. Hmm. I was curious about it. I acknowledged it. I gave it a name, and I kind of just felt what it was like. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm feeling it here in my body. I'm feeling it, however, what does that feeling feel like in my body? It was kind of like a hollow feeling on the left side of my throat and my chest. It's interesting when you stop and pause with your feelings to see what different feelings, like where they are in your body. And so I was just curious. I was like, oh, okay, I'm lonely right now. But what was really even more surprising to me is that after about 5 or 10 minutes, I was okay. It was really for me that brief, and it was like that feeling just needed a little bit of attention. And once I was able to feel it and internally see, with the third eye, as some would say, but internally feel what it was like, I was able to move on. And what really helped me move on was to not only feel into those feelings, but to take inventory of my life and say, is this even true? Am I actually lonely? No, I have a loving family. I have loving friends. I feel love everywhere. And so this is just a temporary feeling that's passing. This isn't actually true. And it was really profound for me because someone who has battled with depression, I found myself, I didn't wallow in it, and I wasn't getting dragged to the depths of sadness. And if you do deal with depression, or if you're going through it now, or battle with it, or are challenged with it, it sucks. I totally understand. And you're not alone, and you'll get through it. So let me just put it that way. But it was interesting to see that, oh, okay, well, I'm embracing this lonely feeling. I don't have any substances that I'm distracting myself. I think I even turned off the TV. I was just quiet, and I was like, all right, this is what this feels like. And then it left. I also want to note, as a side note, if you do suffer from depression and it's serious and you feel like there is no way out, seek help. There are people out there. There are free resources. If you Google it in your community, you can find free mental health resources. You can go to online therapy. I've used BetterHelp in the past. There are other online platforms, or you can seek a professional one-on-one. And there are so many different ways to do it. So I don't want to undermine the fact that depression can be so serious. And if needed, medication can be used to help negate that. This podcast is an overarching conversation about the lonely feeling that people get from time to time, nothing seriously that affects your mental health in a deep way. So I want to acknowledge that and know that you're not alone, and there are others out there who understand and can help you move through it, and to help you find ways to move through it in the future if you know that this is something that you struggle with on and off. So much love to you. I just wanted to make that side note here. And I have to say that my depression in the past, I feel, was centered around my substance abuse. Like I said, I quit drinking alcohol after 9.5 years, but I still ingested THC, and that was my crutch. And for me, that was the way to avoid the feelings that I didn't want to face. But yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have that as a distraction. I was able to face this head on, and I thought, all right, so this is what it needed. It just needed to feel acknowledged. Like, I'm feeling sad right now. Depression happens when I feel you're avoiding it, and it just comes to the surface because you have not, when I say you, I mean me, because I have not been able to acknowledge it. And so it's like, oh, I'm here, and I'm going to make it really effing obvious that I'm here for you to deal with this. And so try this next time. I mean, my advice for that lonely feeling, if it creeps in, try something new, and it won't take much time at all. And it has the potential to truly make a difference in your life. Embrace the feeling. When I say embrace it, I don't mean you have to go down the rabbit hole. I mean, just acknowledge that feeling, not that it's good or bad, that it's just happening. Be curious about it, kind of allow it space. Like, where is it going? Like, where is this in my body? And then kind of just witness, like, honestly, how fast it can pass afterwards. And I'm going to share this quote with you because it pertains to the act of being curious with your feelings. And that kind of awareness is also known as a form of meditation. This quote: if people could learn the skill and wisdom of meditation, they would have a good chance of being freed from their fear of being alone, their fear of death, and other imaginary worries. This is from the book, The Magical Life of the Lotus Born. I really, really loved that quote because it's like, okay, we don't have to run from ourselves. And I'm sorry if I'm saying these cliches, but honestly, cliches are, they're cliches for a reason. But it does kind of feel like you're running from yourself, whether you're grabbing for a substance or you're being overly busy or you just don't want to deal with it. Like, I just can't deal with this now. Honestly, it's just going to make it way effing worse in the future. Like, if you're giving yourself 5 minutes to just feel and see where it's coming from and how it feels, like that is the best medicine I have found. And let's talk about it, the advantages of being alone too. Not lonely, but being alone. So when you're lonely, you're usually alone, or you feel that you're alone, even if you're with a crowd or with your family, you're really, really tuned into yourself, right? But some of the silver lining is that you'll never have this time to yourself again like this. You're never going to have the time that you have right now, ever, ever again. This is a silver lining, y'all. We need to understand that. And I've said this before, our lives do not begin or end with the fishing season. We are fully formed living human beings at all time. Even though commercial fishing can feel really overwhelming, our lives don't have to go by that clock necessarily. I know what you're thinking. The weather dictates our relationship. I get it. I understand how that goes. The weather dictates our family vacations, our celebrations. Yes, I understand. Like in the linear time, I understand that. But the time that you have the day to day, those quiet moments, even running between errands, like those are times that you have to yourself that you'll never get back again in the best way possible. Go take the scenic route to go run some errands, drive by the beach or take a stop at a park and take a quick walk, 5 minutes even. You don't have to like have some huge like hour-long exercise to feel like you're getting yourself. Like even taking 3 deep breaths in your car in the driveway before you go in the house. Those are the moments that are really going to add up and make a difference. And like I said, my favorite advice from my mom, I share this all the time because I love it. Learning to be by yourself is the best gift you can give yourself. So learning how to work through those emotions, like learning how to work through that loneliness, it's going to serve us through the future, no matter what is going on in our lives. The most important relationship you'll ever have is not the one with your fisherman. It's not the one with your kids that you love, of course, dearly, and you would throw yourself in front of a bus for them. It's not the relationship that you have with your best friend or your family. It's the relationship that you have with yourself. So why don't we learn to be our own BFF? And it starts with boundaries. All right. So learning to be our own BFFs, personal boundaries that derail you from indulging in addictions, whether that's alcohol, drugs, shopping, exercise, social media, which I feel we'll talk about even more in the future, eating, being too busy all the time for no real reason. And the list goes on. Like how to be your own BFF is to have boundaries around those things that you know are just not really serving you. Like, and you don't have to cold turkey it. Just do what you can to alter it a little bit. Like, what else can I do instead of doing this or reaching for this right now? What else can I do? Can I go on a quick walk for 5 minutes? Can I call somebody that would be supportive? I've talked about this in the addiction podcast too. If you ever want to go back, there's a couple of them. There's one from 2023 and the one of 2024, December 2023, and then January of 2024 or five. Anyway, there's like at least 3 or 4 or 5 out there for you. Okay. Another great boundaries with family and friends. Saying yes to the things you don't really want to do because you're afraid someone will get mad at you. Like nothing is more important to your mental well-being than saying, I just can't do it. Like, even if you promise somebody okay, I'll be there. I RSVP, blah, blah, blah. But if that day comes and you're like, I don't have the bandwidth to take this on right now, this is the permission slip to say, you don't have to go. You don't have to do things that you don't want to do. And if people, yeah, they might be disappointed. They'll miss you. They love you. They're going to be sad that you're not there, but they'll get over it. But if someone's like super pissed because you can't make it, and let them have their feelings, this too shall pass. But if they're still pissed, like why would you even want someone in your life that has absolutely no understanding of when someone needs a break? Honestly, like ain't nobody got time for that. And here's another one, boundaries with emails and social media. And yes, I'm saying social media twice because it has been said, and I think this is someone who worked with Google or with Facebook, I'm not sure it was an executive with one of those social platforms said it is the biggest psychological, excuse me, it's already making, it's a tongue twister already. It has been said to be the biggest psychological experiment in the history of man and womankind. Boom. I'm like, what? I don't want to be a lab rat. Like, no thanks. I appreciate social media for the connections I've made and being able to learn about other people. And also, I'm wondering, is this going to be forever? Have you seen like that viral video of David after dentist? I'm like, is this going to be forever? Do I need to be tap dancing all day long and sharing my life for the rest of my life? I'm not really sure about all this. Life existed before social media and it will exist after. Business existed before social media and it will after. And on a side note, I've started learning Spanish on Duolingo. And so when I'm tempted to pick up my phone to scroll, I click on Duolingo and I learn a language that will actually benefit me and my mental wellness. And at the end of my life, when I'm laying on my deathbed, I won't be like, man, I wish I would have scrolled for 500 more hours. I'll be like, dang, I'm really glad I'm fluent in Spanish now. It's really awesome. I'll be stoked about that. And unsubscribing from emails has been a game changer for me as well. Like I keep the newsletters that I love and I get rid of all the other junk that had me sign up for my 10% discount or whatever the heck it was. I'm like, I don't need that. And shameless plug, if you'd like to connect more with the POCF community, I'm putting the newsletter sign up link in the show notes because I'm finding that I'm doing less on socials and I want to start moving that kind of energy and that content into the newsletter. It's way more intimate. I feel I want to connect with y'all on a deeper level and not just a reel that may or may not be seen and will go away and no one will ever see again. I want to connect with y'all deeper. I love that we have this podcast. I love the blog. I want to move that energy into the newsletter. So all that good stuff is going to live there. So here's some other advice from our POCF community about how they tackle the lonely feeling and, how they pass time when their fisherman is away. I'm just going to give you a list right now. Traveling, either traveling solo to visit friends or moms of several kids or one child of many children. They like to schedule outings or events or trips whenever their fishermen leave. So they have something to look forward to, which I love that. Gardening, either tend to your amazing garden or start a garden if you haven't already. Even an indoor herb garden, they're fun too. Photography, refinishing furniture, writing and journaling, sewing and quilting, business masterminds, online courses, reading or book clubs, at-home day spas, at-home day spas, at-home spa days. Sometimes I even put one of those little eye masks things while I'm drinking coffee in the morning. Like it doesn't even have to be a full day. It's just like, oh, what can I do right now to make myself feel better? Am I going to take a bath? Am I going to put these little eye patches on? Am I going to lay down for 5 minutes and turn everything off and just close my eyes? That has also been a game changer. Sport fishing, snowboarding, wakeboarding, camping, hiking, hunting, work, school, yoga, meditation, cooking classes, hanging out with friends, or team sports with adult local leagues. I love that. That's our long list from people in our community. This is what they do. And as a bonus, I want to share with you 3 solo date night ideas that you can do during the fishing season or even when your fisherman's home because, hello, we love our fishermen, of course, always. They are our loves. And also, we love ourselves and we need time for ourselves so we can continue to love the people that we love in the utmost degree and not be triggered or annoyed by people because it's really not them. It's because we're not living up to our needs and we're not giving ourselves what we need first. And that is where that annoyance comes in. So, here are 3 solo date ideas. Go to a show by yourself, whether it's live music, live theater, ballet, or go to the movies by yourself. I can't express, and I've said this before, how liberating it is to go see your favorite band or go anywhere by yourself and not have to consider whether anyone else is having fun. Like you just think about yourself. You find a spot, you can people watch, then you can move wherever the hell you want. You can dance here, dance there, dance anywhere. You can stay late, you can leave early. And the confidence is like a mini vacay when you're like, I just went to a freaking insert the blank by myself. And I have to say, traveling by yourself is like this times 10. It's freaking awesome. Go to a museum or an art gallery. It's the second solo date idea. You can connect with history and art. It's so therapeutic and relaxing to just get your steps in at a local museum or art gallery and just lose yourself in it. And when you're alone, you can just stroll and stare at pieces as long as you want. There's no one there to rush or ask for your commentary or sway the vibes of your subjectivity or be like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I have to go to the bathroom. It's like, no, you do what you want to do. Okay, grab dinner and see a movie. I know I mentioned see a movie before, but let's make it a whole date. I once took myself out for Valentine's Day as a bachelorette. This is before I met Chris. And it was this little, God, I can't remember the name right now. It was in this little burger place in Summerland, California. I was working in Montecito, California at a little shop, and I was like, I'm craving a hamburger. I'm like, oh, but it's Valentine's Day. Part of me's like, oh, you don't want to go out because, people, what are people going to think? I'm like, I want an effing hamburger. I'm going out. Oh, it's called the Nugget. If anybody's from that area, I took myself to the Nugget for Valentine's Day, and it was great. And yeah, some people were like, oh, are you by yourself? And I'm like, yep, sure am. And they're like, oh, okay, next year you'll have somebody. I'm like, I'm just enjoying my cheeseburger right now. And let me tell you, it felt great that I was like, I don't need to worry about these societal judgments on whether I want a damn hamburger on Valentine's Day. Take yourself out for dinner, go see a movie. Oh, it's so nice. These are mini like vacations for real. And I'd love to know what kind of hobbies you'd like to do or your favorite outings too. And if you're open to sharing, I would love to know. You can email me at support@pocfpride.com. And as a bonus, if you leave a 5-star review and a couple words for whatever platform you're listening to, screenshot it and email it to me. I will send you a POCF Pride t-shirt to represent our awesome community. And as a big thank you for taking the time to listen and to share your love, because I just want to reflect the love back to you always, because that is the number one thing here, is that POCFs are indispensable, are the most valuable part of the entire commercial fishing industry. And I will preach it on a mountaintop forever. We are the reason that the industry is so successful, hands down. Fishermen, we love you. We know how busy you are and how hard it is to work and do what you do. And if it wasn't for the people and the partners back home managing the home, making sure the business is taken care of, making sure the relationship and your mental well-being wasn't taken care of, everything would be a hot mess. It takes teamwork, and it wouldn't be what it is without the partners of commercial fishermen worldwide. That is my mic drop moment for today and tomorrow and evermore. Amen and namaste. And that's it for today, y'all. I want y'all to tune in. If you are so open to it, I would love it if you tune in next week as we continue to discuss the intricacies of this unique lifestyle, which only a few understand. And I love that even if you're not a partner and you're curious about this lifestyle, how cool to understand what it takes to actually bring the seafood to the table. It just makes those bites of whatever your favorite seafood is just that much more sweeter. Every time I eat seafood, every time I eat wild caught seafood, my husband and I, we always have a little blessing before our meal. And one of them is thank you to the hands who caught it. And thank you to those who are a part of those hands, which are the partners, which are the families. You are also in service there. And we thank you every single time we sit down at the dinner table. We love you so much. And just know that this is our space. This is our space. The Partners of Commercial Fisherman Community is our space on the internet, our corner of the world for us to just be and celebrate this incredible experience that we get to share with each other. With love and POCF pride. Until next time.
Thank you so much for listening. To support our community, I'd so appreciate it if you'd tap the subscribe button to this podcast or write a review. And if you're a POCF who wants to connect further, go to POCFpride.com for weekly vlogs and to learn about opportunities to join our private communities. We'd love to have you.